Monday morning after the All-Ireland football final, Mayo are All-Ireland senior champions. Colm Boyle, delighted to have you here on the 42J Weekly. How are you feeling?
Yeah, when you say them words, Mayo are Ireland champions, it's some feeling. Surreal at the minute. Obviously, we're still processing. Obviously, we had a great night last night. There's people. It starts at home and you see the likes of yourselves here this morning. Like I've been to a load of banquets and you'd have the night out, obviously the night of the final, and there'd be no one around the following day because obviously you've lost and no one really wants to see you or talk to you, obviously for obvious reasons. It's all about the winners and that's the way it should be. To see you guys here this morning, that's when it kind of starts at home. Obviously we were to you last night at the banquet, which we'd never had before as players. Little things like the lads went off to Timper Street Hospital this morning with the cup. Stuff we would have never got to done in the past because obviously you don't get over the line. And it's all about the winners. So it's starting to process, starting to come through. But I think I said to a couple of players there this morning, I think it'll only really fully hit the boys. They realise the enormity of what they've done when they hit Castlebar this evening, because I don't know what's going to be Castlebar. I'd say they could be at, I'm going to put 50 on it. I could be well short. I could be underestimating. I don't know, but it's going to be incredible. I think that's when it finally hit home with what the boys have achieved.
How was the immediate aftermath yesterday evening in Croke Park? Was it surreal? Like I was chatting to a couple of the players. Rob Henley kind of said to me he didn't really know what to think when he got to touch the cup, and he said he had thought about it for so long, so many years, but then to actually be a part of it, it was a bit of a strange experience. He said how you meant to process it and how you meant to react.
Similar to Rob, strange. Final whistle goes. To be honest, the hooter goes. My first reaction was a couple of our boys actually ran on the pitch before the hooter went. I'd say about 2 seconds before the ball was actually over the far side. So my initial reaction was trying to get them off the pitch in case they stopped the game for some particular reason. But once the hooter wins, obviously you have your initial handshake with Andy and he goes over straight away to Jack Bonner and Keane O'Neill. And I think I just stayed in the sideline for about 60 seconds. I didn't go anywhere. I just kind of took a while for it to sink in and then made the beeline to the pitch to the players. And it's all about the players. It really, really is all about the players. Like people will talk about past Mayo teams and teams that didn't get over the line. It's about the team of 26. The team of 26 have done it. And it's not about the past now. It's about them boys and it's about the future going forward, which is brilliant.
You've had All-Ireland final day as a player. What was All-Ireland final day like as a selector, as part of the Mayo management team? How was the whole experience for you?
Strangely calm. Strangely calm. I said it Sunday after breakfast yesterday morning. I said, the boys are unbelievably calm. I didn't know if that was a good or bad thing. I'll be honest with you. You try to always get a read on these things when you're in the back room. Sometimes you're miles off it. Sometimes you have a general idea. I didn't know yesterday morning because I just said the boys were so calm. I didn't know if it was a good or bad thing. So obviously, the way we started the game, the first 15 or 20 minutes, we were rocking. So, was it a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. The way the boys responded after that, the challenge that Kerry were always going to come. We knew Kerry were going to come out of the blocks. The big challenge for us was, could we stick with them? Like, I know a big thing has been made about us in the past about conceding early goals in our Ireland finals. We didn't concede an early one, we'll concede one. I don't know what was on the clock when David Clifford 6 that one away, but we'll go 7 down regardless. We'll go 6 down. I think Sean O'Shea put this. That's an score after that. The boys could easily fold it then. Like, we've got 3 basically teenagers on the pitch at that stage. We've got boys in their mid-20s. I think the average age of the team is about 23 and a half. They could have folded. They could have said, this is just another typical day for Mayo and Ireland final. It's happened to me, but they dug in. Jack Kearney kicks a 2-pointer into the hill against the wings over the right-hand side. Clara Byrne, who probably hadn't touched the ball for the first 10 minutes, is a massive free on her Cusick stand into the hill, which actually wasn't a left-footer shot. We spoke about it before the game. The shot over the hill on the right-hand side was a right-footer shot, curling into the wind. He took it on his left foot, curling, which was a really difficult kick. You actually saw the second half. David Clifford took very few shots in that corner with his left foot, because the wind was so difficult there. Burns 19, and he nails a 2-pointer. Sorry, nails a 1-pointer free, but it felt like a 2-pointer at the time. It was huge for us. I remember the energy that came from the crowd behind us here on standing on sideline, and the energy that came from the stands behind me when Jarrett hit that point. And obviously we get a couple of turnovers up top after that, and it feeds into the general atmosphere, I would say, in the stadium, which was, like, I know you're probably a long time going to our Ireland finals. I'm biased, obviously. I thought it was the greatest atmosphere I've ever felt in terms of one team dominating the supports in terms of Mayo, of the Mayo crowd yesterday. I don't know what was there in numbers, but it felt like it was 80-20.
Well, I always felt, of all the finals I've been at, Limerick's 2018 hurling, I always thought that was the best breakthrough. But yesterday topped it for noise, emotion, the general colour, everything about it yesterday.
Funny, I was looking at the Limerick boys last week and just how in the zone they were and professional and what they've done, but they've been there and done that. And it actually reminded me of when they were there in 2018. They had to come through 2018 first to get to where they were last Sunday, which is basically, you're talking about the peak performance in terms of where a team is at. But they had to suffer through 2018 and the anxiety of getting over the first one, and they did. And look what they've become since. But I was just looking at them in the banquet there last Sunday night. I watched the Sunday game last Sunday night, which I wouldn't normally do, to be honest, if we were playing in the final the following week. But I watched that. I watched the full celebrations after the game last Sunday in the hurling, which I wouldn't normally do if we were in a final a couple of weeks later. I was saying to myself, Jesus, wouldn't be unbelievable if that was us next week. And normally my mind wouldn't be drawn to that, but maybe when you're in a management team now, it's different. And that was us yesterday. And I'd say you probably even multiply it by 10 with because Limerick that's their fifth or sixth yesterday. That's their first. Incredible celebrations. Sometimes there are no words really to describe it, and probably I can't. Less than 24 hours later, I probably can't put into words what it was like. Seeing the fans, seeing the emotion in the stadium, seeing the boys on the pitch, really just embracing the emotion that was coming from the crowd coming down to Hill 16. Like normally we play in Hill 16, we're used to playing against Dublin, and it's all Dubs and maybe a small pocket of Mayo supporters. I'd say yesterday 90% Mayo supporters. Hill 16 was Mayo yesterday. And to see that was just things I look back on. Hopefully I live to an elderly age. I'll be looking back at the moments and thinking, wow, that was magic.
You obviously experienced the flip side of it as a player, personally, but to be involved, you've had a front row view all year of what the players have put in. You've obviously put in a huge amount yourself. I won't say make up for it, but is there like when you woke up this morning, was there a genuine sense of, I don't know, appreciation that you were involved in yesterday?
No, like someone asked me this morning, have you regrets about winning or learning as a player? First, Jesus Christ, sure. How could you not? But yesterday was a day for Mayo people. It wasn't about ex-players or boy players that have played in finals in the past. It was about the team of the 26, and it's forget the past now. It's about the boys of 26, and it's about the future. And that's the big thing for me, is that people could just move on it, because it does hang a cloud over the county. It does, and people might know us or might realise it, but they're almost depressed about it. That they've never seen Mayo win the All-Ireland, and they've just seen Mayo lose finals. They can forget that now, and they can move on with their lives. So obviously you still support the team, and I'd say the same to Mayo supporters. You can back support the team like you did this year, absolutely, but you can move on with your lives now. It doesn't have to be this mad obsession.
It kind of ends a lot of the outside noise or maybe some of the topics now, doesn't it?
It does. I know Andy kind of spoke about it after the semi-final. I don't think whether it's Andy or it's the next Mayo manager, if Mayo are in a final again, we'll be asked about that again, because that's gone now. I think that's what this team have done. They've wiped a lot of the nonsense away. And that's the way I kind of describe it. The regular kind of stuff we associate with Mayo in a final, the build-up. I would have seen a bit of it in the last 2 weeks, but in terms of, I brought myself back to it. So Andy doesn't look at media stuff. He to kind of take the general out of it. And I actually tried during the week. I said, look, if I was in the media from a non-Mayo supporter at the minute, I'd probably be talking like a lot of the boys are, like the pundits are at the minute, or the journalists. But we just thought it was brilliant. We just thought no one's giving us a chance there. I think Mayo people were excited about being in the final, but I'm not sure did they fully think we were going to win it. And that's, of course, natural, because how could you? We haven't won in 75 years. They're playing Kerry, greatest football county there is in a final. In a lot of ways, we weren't supposed to win yesterday, but yet the boys flipped the script and flipped the narrative, and they did it. And that's why I'm going to say the team at 26 will always just be remembered as that team that did it.
Of course, this victory is for every Mayo person, but for the older cohort of players, there's a lot of goodwill towards them getting their moment. I presume guys like Paddy Durkin, Aidan, Killian O'Connor, Diarmuid O'Connor, you must be delighted for them.
So you mentioned a few of the boys there. So obviously I would have played with a lot of them boys. Huge admiration for them, what they've done for Mayo. So I'll take Aidan, Killian and Rob, for example. So them boys obviously haven't played a whole pile over the last couple of weeks or months. No one outside the county, no one outside the group will know what them boys have done for the county, or done for the group in terms of prepping them for the games. They won't, because they were literally sensational around the group. They'll never get credit for it. The group will know what they've done for them. And they were just unbelievable. Having that experience, you've a load of cubs, I'm going to call them, having that experience around. Like, there's a great photo we have of Darragh Byrne he's a 9 or 10-year-old, hugging Killian O'Connor after a game, and we had that in our dressing room. You know what I mean? And just the boys have inspired the Colbys, the Darragh, the Owen McGrails, Hugh Loughlin's, Jerry McCluffy's, John McMonagall, these fellas. But they've been unbelievable around the group. So I'm delighted for them. Jeremy O'Connor yesterday, for example, came in, he played. Jeremy would have been frustrated with the amount of game time I suppose we gave him I think he played very little up into the Meath game. He came on after 15-20 minutes against Meath. He was absolutely sensational, but he actually was injured. He injured himself about 5 minutes into it, which sums up Jeremy as a character. Just played through it, battled, won breaking ball, got us through it, and actually wasn't fit again. He was on the bench for the last game, but really he was struggling to make the bench. And we just decided with C.B. Clone, who's another absolute warrior for Mayo, legend of the county, we just decided with Jeremy, could we throw him in there today for 45-50 minutes, let him battle, let him win breaking ball. My God, did he do it? He did it unbelievably well. I think he actually went down the tunnel when we took him off. I think he watched the last 20 in the dressing room. He couldn't watch it out on the pitch. That's the type of character he is. He brings everything to it. Them guys are doing unbelievable. Connor Loftus came on. Paddy Durkin, you mentioned there, we brought him I think we only brought Paddy on with 7 to go. I mean, you only bring it on a player like Paddy Durkin with 7 to go. That shows you the strength of the squad we built this year. Unbelievable fella. He captained the team for the last 3 years, you have to mind. And we're only bringing him on with 7 minutes to go today. And he's in phenomenal shape, playing brilliantly well. And we felt like we could hold him to the end to get him in for the last 10 to give us a bit of energy. I remember he had a massive turnover in front of the hill with about 10 to go. He got the hands in an interception. Brilliant fella, brilliant leader. He's been a leader of these boys for the last 3 years. He's in a very different role this year, and a frustrating role, I'd say, for him, but he's an All-Ireland champion.
Just finally, you talked about the home going for Castlebar. I'm going to bring you to whenever this day will happen, when yourself and Fintan Kelly take that cup to the people of Ballantyne, to David's GA Club. That's going to be quite an amazing moment for you.
I would have always dreamt to do that as a player. I had visualised it back in the day. It wasn't meant to be. Fintan's actually a relation of mine. He's a second cousin. So I'm delighted. I know all his family obviously very well. I'm delighted for all them. The Barber, his mum, Francie's dad. He's the first man in Davis to win an Ireland senior medal, and it's just unbelievable achievement by him. He's actually really unlucky not to come in yesterday. He came on in the semi-final, if you remember, 15 to go, and did really well. So he's one of the many that was very lucky not to play yesterday. But yeah, we'll have that moment where we get to Davis. Guy doing win it today. We've ahead to a few weeks and months ahead, but I really look forward to it. I look forward to. We actually had a guy in our banquet last night. I don't know how he got in. I don't think he gave a ticket, but Billy Curran's a legend of our club who we would have soldiered a lot with, and he's Sam Maguire over his head. And it's only kind of when you see him, the likes of him, holding Sam over his head at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're kind of thinking, yeah, this is what it's all about.
Colm Boyle, congratulations, All-Ireland champions. Yeah. Thanks very much for joining us. Thank you.